Today we're going to talk about something that almost everyone, everywhere, has to deal with, and honestly, it can be incredibly painful. It's not about the medicine or the doctors, it's about the price of healthcare. It's a problem that can literally wreck a family's finances, and we're going to dig into a really fascinating way we might be able to fix it.
And that brings us to this one, central, kind of uncomfortable question, right? Why is it that healthcare is pretty much the only thing we buy completely blind? I mean, it's this bizarre exception in our lives that we've just sort of accepted as normal.
Think about it. In pretty much every other part of your life, you expect to know the price. You would never, ever buy a car without knowing the price tag, right? Or book a flight without seeing the fare. You get a quote from a plumber before they even touch a pipe. But when it's about our health, these huge, critical decisions, we're often left totally in the dark about what it's all going to cost.
So let's dive into our first section, which we're calling the information ceiling. And this isn't about the quality of care. No, this is about a massive bottleneck, a ceiling on transparency that really limits our choices and our power as patients.
And this problem is just huge. All over the world, the cost of getting sick is rising way faster than what people are earning. More and more families are paying big chunks of it out of their own pockets. Insurance is a maze, and for so many people, a single trip to the hospital can cause a total financial crisis. Medical bills are one of the biggest reasons people go into debt. It's a massive issue.
But here's what's really wild about all this. It's the total lack of consistency. The price for the very same medical procedure isn't just a little different from one place to the next, it can be staggeringly different, even between hospitals in the same city.
Okay, so let's look at a pretty common example. Let's say a patient needs a specific procedure. They go to hospital A, and the bill comes out to $4,500, which, is already a lot of money. But get this, at another hospital, maybe just down the road, the exact same procedure costs $45,000. That is 10 times more. How is anyone supposed to know that? How can you possibly make a smart choice when that's what you're up against?
And this quote right here, it just nails it. Patients aren't overpaying because they're bad shoppers. They're overpaying because the system makes it almost impossible to shop at all. You can't pick the better option if you have no idea it even exists. So let's be super clear. This is not a failure of medicine. Our doctors and nurses are doing amazing work. The system is failing us because of a massive lack of simple, accessible information about the cost. It's an information failure. Okay, so if the problem is a lack of information, then what's the solution? Well, that brings us to our next section, crowdsourcing the truth. And the big idea here is that even though hospitals don't broadcast their prices, the data we need is actually already out there. It's just scattered across millions and millions of patient bills.
And that leads to this really powerful idea, a crowdsourced price transparency platform. It sounds complicated, but it's not. The idea is simple. What if we could take all those individual bills and bring them together to create one giant shared public database of what healthcare actually costs?
And the way it works is actually pretty straightforward. First, a patient just uploads their bill. Then, and this is key, the platform automatically removes all of their personal, sensitive info. It's completely anonymized. After that, some smart tech analyzes the costs and organizes the data, and boom, it's added to the database for everyone to search. We're turning individual pain points into collective power. And this is where it gets really, really useful for you. You could search for a specific procedure in your city and see what real people have actually paid at different hospitals. And the most important part? This is real-world data from actual bills, not some vague estimate the hospital gives you. Now, this is where the model becomes so powerful. It creates this amazing effect that tech people call a data flywheel. It works like this. Every single bill that's uploaded makes the database a little bit more accurate. Better accuracy makes the tool more useful, which brings in more users. And of course, more users means more data. It just keeps getting better and stronger, feeding itself over time. So, in our final section, let's talk about the big picture here. Because the goal isn't just to build a cool database, it's to help create a future where healthcare prices are no longer a secret, a future that is, well, visible.
And here is the real game changer. So many other attempts to fix this problem have failed because they need hospitals to agree to share their prices. And, well, that doesn't always happen. This approach completely bypasses that problem. It doesn't need anyone's permission because it uses the data that patients already have in their hands.
So just imagine what that future could look like. A future where families can actually compare prices before a major treatment. Where you can challenge a crazy charge on your bill because you have the data to prove it's out of line.
and where hospitals that are actually fair with their pricing earn our trust and our business. It's a future where transparency itself creates fairness.
And at the end of the day, this all comes back to the human side of things. This isn't just about numbers and data. When a system as important as healthcare becomes more fair, it protects the things that matter most: our dignity, our well-being, and our family's financial security.
So I want to leave you with this question. Forget the big systemic stuff for just a second and make it personal. If you had access to this kind of crystal clear, real-world pricing information, what could that kind of radical transparency in healthcare actually change for you, for your family? It's a powerful thing to think about.